all these injuries have affected practice to a point. He said, we've had to dial things back, but at this point, we got to get ready to go because we have a preseason game on Saturday. How are you approaching that as a defensive coordinator, knowing that there's a lot of guys out, but hey, preseason is here?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, no matter what, Sean sits in a different seat than I do, right? He's looking over the whole team in the big picture. As far as we're concerned on defense, we play defense one way. That's full speed. When we're allowed to be physical, it's going to be physical. And next man up, I've said it for years. Next guy in, we've prided ourselves on that. Every coach, including myself, has to adjust. Like today, had to adjust some things, just to get us schematically some things we need and to shuffle some pieces around. So, we just adjust, and our standard's our standard.
I've seen your dad out here a little bit. It's been a couple years now.
Yeah.
What's it been like? And when he's right away retired, it might be a little different than him stepping back and watching a couple of years. What's that dynamic for him watching you coach and your communication with him?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I was thinking last night, I haven't talked to him in a couple days, but he's full-on grandfather right now. Him and my son's a quarterback at St. Francis. And he goes to St. Francis. And so my dad's full quarterback grandpa, like taking videos while I'm at camp when he's at a 7-on-7, like, oh, good throw, bad throw, So he's full-on grandpa. I'm sure once the I think some of you guys know my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, is a quarterback's coach with the Colts. So on Sundays, inside, I believe, he lives in South Carolina, inside is the Bills game and outside is the Colts game, and he just goes back and forth, No, but it's great. Role model for me and truly someone that showed me what it should look like. So.
You watch all the press conferences to kind of see what about Hard Knocks tomorrow? You going to dial in for that, and what do you maybe from your perspective looking to see?
I will not watch Hard Knocks, and I'll just say I don't want to be on it. It's cool. It's our approach. I think Sean said it is we're gonna be us. We've been us. This is 9 years for a lot of us. Or most of us, whether it's 9, 8, 7 years, some guys being here, and we're going to be us. We got nothing to hide. And it all goes back to the culture that Sean and Brandon have built and the permission to be yourself, the best version of yourself, right? And I think hopefully that's what you see. But I won't watch it. I'm not worried about that. We're worried about getting our guys ready to have a great season.
Hey, Bobby, you talked about, I think the last time you spoke about Hoyt and Ogunjobi and the plan you had for training camp. So if you could, two parts, how has that gone so far? But the second part of my question is, do you think the difficulty is going to be when they're away for those first 6-7 weeks to get them back, back on groove?
So, yes, to answer your question, plan's good as of right now. Feel good about it. Secondly, certainly that will be a challenge, right? I mean, 6 weeks not playing football, certainly. So we'll sit down with them. We'll have a detailed plan when that time comes, right? We talk to our guys, and I'm a broken record, but about like being in the moment, being present in this moment. And today it's this practice is the only thing that matters. And we don't need to have that discussion with those guys until that discussion comes. But, we'll all be aligned. From Sean all the way to the guys that'll be on vacation, and we'll be aligned and get them as ready to go as we possibly can.
The Pats have been on for a week. You've been able to see Hoyt more. What excites you about the versatility and what he can bring to that front for you guys?
Michael Hoyt's an interesting dude. You watch him from afar. I think there's a clip out there, and I think I actually saw it at some point 2 years ago, whatever. I think he had a pass breakup on DK Metcalf or something like that, right? So, and then you learn about Michael Hoyt, and, I believe he was a 300-pound interior defensive lineman that makes an adjustment when he gets in the NFL as an undrafted, I believe. And, he's certainly smart. He cares. He is an energy giver. right? Like you talk about energy vampires and then you talk about energy givers, and he is the furthest thing from an energy vampire. He is adding value specifically to our defense in, I guess you could call it, intangible ways.
You look up yesterday and Cole and Taylor missing provides an opportunity for a lot of guys. One of those, Jordan Hancock. What have you seen out of Jordan? You smile a little bit there.
He's a rookie, right?
Yeah.
So Jordan, best way I could say it is Jordan is a football player. He plays football and he plays football fast, but he is a rookie and he's not detailed to the point. It's funny, I just called him last night and told him, flat out, I like to communicate with the players, me personally, as do our coaches. And, hey, same thing I'm telling you, good football player, lacks the details right now, and we need to see those increase as we go. But there is growth there with him, and he's doing some good things. So he's a rookie. He's a rookie.
When you mentioned the details for him, though, when he's learning multiple positions, how much harder is that for a guy like him? Or, what is that like?
Okay, so first off, it's tough. It's tough. But I'm just going to use an example of a player on our team that you guys all know, Cam Lewis. Cam Lewis plays a lot of positions. He never makes an excuse. He wants to do everything right, and he works at it. And he's as tough as they come. So what a great example for a guy that has to do multiple things, right? Position versatility is going to add value to you. And here's a guy who can do all those things. So there's a perfect example sitting right next to Jordan Hancock, someone like Jordan Hancock in meetings. So, it's a little bit, your job is to know multiple things in the NFL, right? It's not a college roster. So, but you did. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's where it's at. Like, no excuses, no explanations. Figure it out. Let's go. It's pro football. You're good.
Greg Rousseau. Have you noticed anything different with, sometimes when a guy gets paid and he's already had the thought of being a number one pick, they might feel like they have to do more. Have you had any conversations with him like that? Is he the same this year?
No, I think not that Greg wasn't focused before on his level of play, but I think, as I said with Trey, I think Greg right now is on a mission. And, in the NFL, you look at two things. Some guys get paid and get comfortable, and some guys get paid and want to raise their level of play to prove to everybody that I'm worth that. And I believe right now that Greg's doing that. Obviously, there's a lot of things that we all have to continue to get better on and grow in. But, he certainly is trending the right direction. Greg's a great dude. And he wants to be a great teammate, and he wants to perform for his teammates.
Bobby, do you guys, as a coaching staff, have any advice to the players about how to handle the first episode of Hard Knocks when it comes out tomorrow and the potential fallout that might come from whatever's in there?
You said for the coaching staff?
From the coaching staff, do you guys have advice to the players on that?
No, we're focused on practice. Right. The one thing that's been constant here is Sean and Brandon don't allow distractions or minimize distractions, and they do an unbelievable job of that. So, no.
Bobby, with some of the safety injuries, Derek Forrest has also had a bigger opportunity. How is he coming along in the defense?
Defoe's doing a good job. It's hard here, man. Our safeties, they run the show. It's quarterbacking, and he's coming from potentially an organization where he didn't have to quarterback as much. So we are seeing growth in Defoe. We need to continue to see growth. Great dude, works his butt off. Still need to see some improvement. That's the best thing I could tell you.
On the safeties note, what have you seen out of DeMar so far this camp?
Yeah, DeMar's consistent. DeMar's having a solid camp. Want to see in these preseason games and things like that, right? But he's had a solid camp. And here's a guy that's been in the system, right? And knows it, and he's doing a good job quarterbacking the defense. And we need to make sure when it counts, we're making plays.
Those one technique reps behind Daquan, who's that kind of sitting right behind Dwayne and Deanna?
Yeah, we're rotating a lot of guys. We're rotating a lot of guys, and it's good competition throughout our roster. And there's no real rhyme or reason to how we're doing it right now. You want to make sure that the guys are getting adequate reps so we can do a fair evaluation.
Bobby, with Daquan Jones entering year 12,
How valuable has his experience been for that younger group of defensive tackles coming in?
It's been great. It's been great. You know, he operates as a pro, and not only verbally, you know, that aspect of leadership, but by example, right? How a pro handles things, and that's as important as anything.
The defensive line, you know, you talk about the size that unit brings, but you look at a guy like Javon Solomon, who typically in his frame is undersized, but he's been doing so much for you guys. What have you just seen him and how he's fitting and how he's performing at camp?
Yeah, I think Javon's doing a really nice job. I said it the other day. Seen a lot of growth from Javon. Seen a lot of growth. I think one thing, you know, when I used to be a position coach, you look for guys that are in control of the down, right? It's not chaos. It's not. And I feel like Javon right now is in control of his downs more than he was last year, clearly as a rookie. So, again, it's practice. I got it. You know, all those type of things. We need to see in the game that can carry over. Anything else? Good to go. Thank you, guys.